want to stop building your business on rented land. You protect yourself by aggressively migrating your audience from social media platforms to a database you own and control, ensuring no algorithm can ever come between you and your customers. A lot of young creators think that monetization is when TikTok sends you a payout. It's not. That's platform income, and it can be switched off overnight. Yeah, look, shift your focus from likes to leads. Likes are applause. Leads are assets. Every piece of content you create should function as a bridge, trading immediate value for contact information. Instead of asking, how do I get more engagement? Ask, what value problem can I solve that earns permission to continue the conversation? I use the last mile problem analogy to define any final complex step in the process. The gap between what technology can do and how it's actually used by most entrepreneurs. Production is full of last mile problems. Using AI tools is a good example. AI chatbots are only as good as the prompt question you ask.
Welcome to tomorrow. Echo.
The Modern Samurai Podcast.
Lights ignite the sky.
Work smarter.
Feel the pulse accelerate.
Monetize your story.
Guys.
Powered by Digital Samurai.
This is only the beginning.
Hello, and welcome to the Modern Samurai Podcast. I'm Michelle Ricketts, your host, and I'm here with my twin brother and the digital samurai, Martin Ricketts. Hi, Martin.
Hi, Michelle. Great to be here.
Glad to have you here today. So today we're going to talk about some things that are get to know digital samurai, and you have some things you can take away and use in your business right away. So one thing we're going to start with, Martin, is something I think is so much fun: algorithm roulette. So tell me, how can you protect your business from algorithm roulette and ensure your reach isn't silenced by platforms you don't own?
Yeah, you want to stop building your business on rented land. You protect yourself by aggressively migrating your audience from social media platforms to a database you own and control, ensuring no algorithm can ever come between you and your customers. Look, to truly insulate your business, you must treat social media as a high-traffic highway, not your destination. Every post you share and every interaction you have should serve as a single strategic purpose, moving that user into your own ecosystem. When you rely on a third-party platform, you are subject to their rules, their censorship, and their sudden shifts in visibility. By prioritizing the growth of your own database, you secure your digital sovereignty. This ensures that even if a platform disappears or your account is throttled tomorrow, or God forbid, your account is closed, you still possess the direct line of communication necessary to drive revenue, maintain business continuity.
Well, that's fantastic, Martin. So it's not about not being on the platforms, but it's about having that connection to your contacts and your people, your tribe off the platform. So you're creating a database. I love that. Wonderful.
Exactly. Don't get me wrong. Thank goodness the platforms are here. They're powerful tools for you to build your business. But you just have to be aware that you don't own the relationships.
So tell me, what is the most important asset to build outside social media to ensure you don't lose access to those customers or that tribe?
Well, your most critical asset is a clean, segmented, and owned database. This is the only way to guarantee direct access to your audience without paying for reach or begging for visibility from a third-party platform. A lot of young creators think that monetization is when TikTok sends you a payout. It's not. That's platform income, and it can be switched off overnight. Real monetization happens when you own the relationship. When you control the database, you control the revenue. Think of your database as a command center for your business. While social platforms are excellent for discovery, they are a high-walled garden where you are the guest, not the owner. If you do not transition those followers into a database you own, such as an email or a SMS list, you're vulnerable to deplatforming or sudden shifts in reach that can silence your brand overnight. Remember when the US turned off TikTok for a day? Think of a great database as a finely tuned machine, not just a list of names. When you segment contacts by interests, purchase history, or engagement level, you can deliver highly relevant communication. That is how you build trust. This direct line of communication is the foundation of business sovereignty, and true IP, intellectual property, is ownership. It allows you to launch products, share insights, and generate revenue on your terms at a time of your choosing without ever having to buy back access to the audience you work so hard to build.
Well, Martin, that's critical because not having your control over that revenue and the database connection is like handing your wallet to somebody else and trusting them with it, basically, right? We would never do that.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly so.
Yeah. All right. So then let's look at how do you pivot from chasing vanity metrics like likes to securing the ownership of your customer database? Again, that tribe.
Yeah. Look, shift your focus from likes to leads. Likes are applause. Leads are assets. Every piece of content you create should function as a bridge, trading immediate value for contact information. Instead of asking, how do I get more engagement? Ask, what value problem can I solve that earns permission to continue the conversation? That means clear calls to action, free guides, checklists, webinars, early access, tools, for instance, something meaningful and immediately actionable that a viewer willingly exchanges their email or phone number for. Ideally, you want the viewer to think, I'd be crazy not to give them my email address. But vanity metrics live on rented land. A clean, segmented database lives on owned land, your land. When you make this shift, your strategy changes. You stop optimizing for dopamine hits and start optimizing for relationship depth. You stop celebrating views and start tracking conversations. You measure your cost per lead, not just reach. Look, the goal is simple. Turn attention into permission, permission into ownership. That is how to move from chasing popularity to building a durable, sovereign business asset.
Well, and if you look at an event, say for instance, Tom Cruise is coming to opening of a movie, is going to the event, and he gets lots of likes, but nobody shows up. That wouldn't work, right? So let's shift this to events and talk about events a little bit in a different way that you could do events. So how can you replace traditional passive sponsorship, which is just, here's your logo. Yeah, I'll show everybody your logo. I'll talk about you at the event. How can we shift from that with interactive lead capture systems, turning events into predictable stream of leads for sponsors?
Yeah, the bar for event sponsorship has been raised. Savvy companies realize that the spray and pray marketing model is no longer acceptable. Today, the most effective marketing is driven by measurable data points. Specifically, opt-in rates, retention rates, and conversion rates that provide a clear window into your true return on investment for any given event spend. Move away from static logos and implement interactive lead capture systems. Use frictionless mobile funnels and QR codes that deliver instant value, enabling your partners to capture lead data in real time. By providing sponsors with hard data rather than just good vibes, you prove that your event is a predictable acquisition channel, turning a one-time sponsor into a long-term strategic partner with measurable ROI.
Well, predictability and measurable ROI are music to the ears of any event sponsor. So let's look at how we do that. What digital strategies can vendors use at live events to ensure they capture that lead data rather than hand out business cards and hope for the best?
Yeah, vendors should use frictionless mobile assets with opt-in capabilities. Instead of exchanging paper cards, let's say, here's my business card, they get lost. Have attendees scan a code, then enter their name and email address so they can receive a digital resource instantly. That ensures 100% of those interactions are captured for your follow-up system. Look, this is not the same as a digital card where you get their VCF, right? There's no immediate value there, and it takes a bit of jiggery pokery to make it work. So it's an inefficient way of getting lead information.
Yeah, absolutely. And, a lot of times people will talk about, oh, I'm going to get my ebook and my PDF. But since those are losing their value, what are specific frictionless tools to offer at events instantly to convert those attendees to subscribers?
Yeah, you want to offer speed to value tools like an interactive audit or instant calculators such as a loan or mortgage calculator, or a business freedom analysis, a stress test, that kind of thing. We offer micro lessons on the power of voice typing and calendar time blocking from my good sister, the Queen of Calendars. Now, both
That's me.
these give immediate value to the prospect by saving them time. The bar has been raised. People want immediate insights and results, not homework like your 50-page PDF that no one ever reads.
Yeah, so true, Martin. Well, now let's talk a little bit about business philosophy and growth. And one of the things that really resonates with a lot of people is storytelling. So, how can small businesses use storytelling and digital media to break through market obscurity and build a high authority brand?
Yeah, you want to use original content marketing to document your expertise and then your why behind your brand. I'm not talking about social media content you can buy on Fiverr for $100, like Happy Monday or pithy slogans like work smarter, not harder. That's not going to earn you money. I'm talking about actionable assets that target your avatar and get real results. Immediate value. We have a popular micro lesson that teaches voice typing techniques. You can scan the QR code, watch the video, download the app, and within minutes, you're saving time with voice typing. By sharing your process and success stories through digital media, you position yourself as the trusted authority rather than just another commodity in the marketplace. If you consistently share actionable content, over time, people will get to know, like, and trust you and ultimately buy what you've got to offer.
Yeah, you want to have that differentiator and be different and share something that people actually find value in. So, what is the primary strategic lever a business can pull today to 3x their growth?
Yeah, that's a great question. The most powerful lever for immediate ROI is what I call database reactivation. By using automated systems to re-engage past clients and systematically asking for referrals. By doing that, you can achieve significant growth without spending a single dollar on new advertising. To maximize this growth, you must shift your focus towards customer retention. It is statistically much less expensive to keep an existing customer than to acquire a new one. Most businesses know that. And therefore, retention is not just a service metric, it's a core growth strategy. Now, here are 3 ways you can increase growth and profitability. Number 1, maximizing customer lifetime value, or CLV. CLV is about implementing automated upsells and cross-sells that offer relevant solutions to your existing base at the exact moment they need them. Increasing customer lifetime value is a high leverage strategy because you've already paid the acquisition cost. Now you can squeeze more profit from that client by incentivizing them to engage with you longer. Maximizing CLV is one of the most important jobs an entrepreneur can do. It's all about paying attention to your client, being obsessed with creating a frictionless client experience, being proactive about anticipating their needs before they ask.
And really, Martin, when you're doing the work with a client, that lifetime value increases because they do value the work you're doing. So it's not about how do I make them stay? They want to stay with you and re-sign with you and be a client for longer because you're doing the work they need. You're helping them. You're building their business. So what's the second element?
Well, frictionless referrals is another one. You want to create an automated referral engine that rewards your current advocates by introducing new leads, turning your client base into an unpaid sales force. You should reward your advocates based on the quality of their execution. By using automated tracking, you ensure your partners and clients are rewarded the moment a referral reaches a specific milestone, reinforcing that positive behavior instantly. Another great tactic is using gifts. Instead of asking your client to sell for you, provide them with a high-value entry point, like a specialized link to an automated mini audit, or a speed-to-value masterclass, or a coupon for a free dinner, something that they see as valuable. This allows your advocate to provide immediate value to their peer, removing the social friction of making a recommendation. And perhaps the best way to increase business from referrals, Michelle, is to eliminate technical friction. Digital Samurai is obsessed with removing friction from the client experience. And the biggest killer of referrals is complexity and friction. You must ensure the transition from referred prospect to onboarded client happens in a single automated flow. If your advocate has to explain how to work with you, your system is broken. Your technology should do the explaining, ideally with a well-crafted explainer video. Your advocate simply provides the door. Create an explainer video that captures your elevator pitch, delivers a compelling message and offer, and most importantly, includes an opt-in button that captures their contact information.
And coincidentally, Digital Samurai can create an explainer video for you.
That's exactly
But
right.
Martin, it's so true. I talk to people who have referral partners, and people make it hard for them to refer. and then they get somebody who's coming on as a client, and they don't get back to the referral partner and let them know that. So there are elements on both sides that have to be done much better for referrals to be, as you say, it should be seamless.
That's exactly right. Now, the third one, Michelle, is speed to value. Ensure new customers achieve a win immediately, right after purchasing through automated onboarding, which drastically reduces churn and builds long-term loyalty.
Yes, there's nothing worse than signing up to work with someone and then you have crickets. It loses the momentum, and the client doesn't have a great experience. When I work with some clients, I really work on that client experience. It's critical how you bring them on in the first place and then how you treat them along the journey. So now, Martin, how can you produce high quality, community-focused events that remain financially stable without compromising the core mission?
Look, the sponsor model for most events is based on exposure, and that model is broken. Event hosts agree to plaster your logo everywhere and blast it out to all potential attendees. That is an extremely inefficient way of marketing. The average person sees over 5,000 ads per day. It doesn't matter how many places your sponsor ad is plastered, it's highly unlikely they're going to remember it. Instead, event holders should create value loops that deliver measurable ROI for sponsors. Yes, put their logo on the signs, the banners, and show guide, but make sure it's got a QR code, a compelling call to action that gets people to scan, and a value-based lead magnet that enables the vendor to capture attendees' names and email addresses. When your event becomes a data-driven lead generation machine for your partners, their investment sustains your mission, making the event financially self-sufficient. But perhaps more importantly, event sponsors will come back the next time you ask, and it's far easier to retain a happy sponsor than to find a new one.
Yes, and the sponsorship game is getting tighter and tighter and more competitive all the time. So when you have the advantage that your sponsors actually see value and get an ROI that's measurable from your event, they're going to come back. Absolutely. So Martin, martial arts is your background, and you brought that into your business. So you have a digital samurai mindset. So let's talk about that for a minute. So what specific steps can a solopreneur take to stop trading time for money and start using automation to build their true leverage?
That's a great question, Michelle. I always talk to people about this. You want to stop trading time for money. You must audit your workflow to identify every repetitive task and ideally replace it with an automated trigger. Build a digital staff of systems that handle lead capture and nurturing so you can focus exclusively on high strategy execution. The people you're talking to should be pre-sifted, pre-sorted, and predisposed to do business with you, and that part should be automated. Digital Samurai builds a digital brain for our clients. We set them up with tools and tactics that make it effortless for them to capture information coming into their digital world, archive and retrieve it at will, share and collaborate with our production team as if they were in the same room. That's the kind of frictionless process you want in order to maximize your ROI and profit.
Well, to have that frictionless system, you need to identify issues. So how do you identify and fix tech failures that prevent your business systems from actually executing your goals? You refer to these as the last mile problem, I think?
Yeah, that's right. The last mile problem is a term that originated in the telecommunications industry to describe the high cost and technical difficulty of running physical cables from the central network directly to an individual home. That final stretch was expensive to install because it only served one customer. Since then, the term has been broadened to include logistics such as Amazon deliveries, noting that the most expensive leg of the trip is from the distribution hub to your home. I use the last mile problem analogy to define any final complex step in the process. The gap between what technology can do and how it's actually used by most entrepreneurs. Production is full of last mile problems. Using AI tools is a good example. AI chatbots are only as good as the prompt question you ask. Sales funnel systems are only as good as the copy used in the campaign. To fix your last mile problem, you need to close the gap between having powerful tools and actually getting finished results that generate profit. Most entrepreneurs buy great software and SaaS services, but still get stuck at the end. They're left to figure out the final steps on their own, guessing what to write, how to structure the funnel, and how to make everything work together. The logistics, super important. Instead of relying on trial and error, what you want to do is build simple, repeatable systems. That means ready-made prompts, proven copy templates, and automated workflows that do the heavy lifting for you. We provide all of those services to our clients at Digital Samurai, but you can also get them free from different sources as well. When you plug expert-built pieces directly into your setup, the work doesn't stall at the finish line. It gets done. No technical bottlenecks, no overthinking, just frictionless execution. And isn't that what everybody wants?
Absolutely. Everybody wants that frictionless execution. It's not about buying a program, a course, or some tech for your business and it sits on a shelf and gathers dust. It really is about being able to get up and running right away. And that's where frictionless execution comes in. I love it. So how can you reframe your relationship with technology so it functions as a freedom tool rather than a digital burden? Because for a lot of people, they think, oh, tech, oh my God, it's a burden. How do they do that, Bud?
Yeah. Look, you need to stop viewing technology as a to-do list, a ball and chain, and start viewing it as a tool for digital sovereignty. This isn't an issue for Gen Z. They see their smartphone as an extension of their body. But I strongly believe that technology should be effortless to use. Seamless, intuitive systems make it so. When your systems are set up correctly, the technology is frictionless and ideally invisible. It's habit. You don't have to think about it. You buy back your time and energy, and you reduce cognitive load, allowing you to operate with the discipline, freedom, and focus of a digital samurai.
I love that. The freedom and focus are all about that. And of course, you're the digital samurai. So let's shift a bit and look at the content to cash flow, because for every business, cash flow is key. You don't have that, you don't have a business. So what is the missing link required to transform social media attention into consistent flow of revenue?
The missing link is a conversion bridge. Attention without a systematic, frictionless way to capture data is just a hobby. You need an automated sequence that immediately moves a prospect from a social media post into a qualified sales conversion. That is not an easy thing to do. The way you do it is by first making sure the video asset delivers value to the viewer. And of course, creating a compelling thumbnail and subject line is critically important. If they don't click on the video, then all your efforts are for naught. Once you have a compelling video, you need a call to action at the end with a powerful message and offer. The message is the why I should care part, and the offer is the what's in it for me part. You have to nail both of those things in such a way that the prospect will say, I'd be crazy not to go on to the next step. And that is not an easy thing to do, which is why most fail. Concentrate all your efforts on enhancing your offer by including a strong call to action along with a valuable lead magnet that delivers instant, practical benefits. Ensure the process to access these assets is smooth and frictionless. This approach will significantly boost your retention and conversion rates.
And it's all about offering that value. So when you have your call to action, it's the value afterwards that really is going to be that game changer. That's where a lot of people really fall down on it. So let me ask you, why is prioritizing security for your digital assets a more effective growth strategy than just worrying about data privacy?
In my experience, most businesses worry far too much about privacy and not nearly enough about data security. I find it astounding that the most popular password is 123456.
Still.
Exactly. If you're a business owner and you're not using a password management system like the one built into Chrome's Google Password Manager, you're leaving yourself open to a security catastrophe. Some have argued that privacy is dead. Well, perhaps, but it really depends on what you mean by privacy. The media certainly loves to scare people when there are data breaches or reports of bad actors doing shady things with your data. While this is all true, I would argue that the downside of your lack security creates a far more serious threat, one that could destroy your business. If you fail to prioritize security by neglecting strong, unique passwords and failing to implement two-step verification, you are leaving your digital front door wide open. Relying on memory or weak reused passwords makes you an easy target for credential stuffing, phishing, and brute force attacks. Without a dedicated password manager to anchor your defenses, a single compromised account can trigger a domino effect, granting hackers access to your banking, client data, and proprietary systems. Once they're in your computer, they can do serious damage. If you lose access to your accounts, or your data is compromised or locked up for ransomware because you lack these basic guardrails, your business will cease to exist. It's really hard to build a successful business, as anyone who's done so knows. But it's easy to destroy it, and lack security is one of the ways it can happen. Security is about business continuity. You cannot build a high-growth brand on a foundation that can be taken away from you in an instant. As you can tell, I'm passionate about this issue. Protecting your data and security isn't just a technical choice. It is a fundamental governance and survival strategy for serious entrepreneurs.
Well, Martin, your passion is well-founded, and really, if you don't keep those passwords secure, make sure that you're diligent with respect to how you're managing your business security, that is going to be a major issue. So I love the passion that you have around this. It's been really great having you as a guest today, Martin, on the podcast. You've brought such value to our viewers, our audience, and I know you continue to do that. Thanks for joining us on the Modern Samurai podcast. From Martin and Michelle, the twins, we'd love to see you next time. All right, Martin?
That's right, Michelle. And last thing I'll say is the most efficient and elegant solutions emerge when there's nothing left to remove.
If you want to learn more ways to leverage technology so you can do work you love and design your future, scan the QR code to get access to the Digital Samurai community and more powerful micro lessons.